And we are live. Hello. Welcome to Rhymes with Klei, Klei's roughly monthly devcast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Hugo. I'm a programmer and designer at Klei. Also voted coolest Brazilian in the studio for 4 years, but that might now change since we have more than one Brazilian in. I am joined with Jen over call. Say hi, Jen.
Hello, it's me. I'm Jen. I write for Don't Starve, and it's my first time streaming. I'm excited and nervous, but it's going to be great.
Yeah, for sure. You've been with Klei for 2 years
Yeah,
now?
a little over 2 years. It's weird because most of it has been over quarantine, so it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it has.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, most of the time you've been at Klei has been basically working from home, eh?
Yeah, no, I was doing the math a while ago, and I've actually been working for Klei from home longer than I ever was at the studio, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah, we're slowly coming back. It'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're here to talk a little bit about Wanda, about the process of designing Wanda, about Klei in general. Yeah, if you guys have any specific questions about Wanda and the design process, feel free to ask. And Jan is our lore master when it comes to Don't Starve, holder of all secrets. So you're
Yeah,
in
so I'm gonna have
for
to be careful.
some doors should never be opened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we dive into the actual design process of Wanda, why don't we take a quick look into Wanda herself? So I'm just gonna resume this world. But yeah, the first fully original character we actually worked on together was Wirt, right?
Yeah, Wirt was pretty soon after I came on, I think we did Wirt. So she was really fun.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I still like hold her in high regard. It's one of my favorite characters,
Yeah, she's still my baby.
right? Okay, so yeah, this is Wanda. Time. I just need more time. She is a clockmaker, and her mechanics are all related to the flow of time. You all see later, but she doesn't have a health bar like the other survivors. She has a little clock, and she basically only dies of old age. So these are some of her skins. The guest of honor one. Let me just find all of the pieces. There we
Oh, I
go.
got a question from Shadow Imp. They were asking what the inspiration behind Wanda was. The inspiration was kind of a lot of things. I will say it was I got a little self-indulgent with this one just because I love like the whole, steampunky clocks stuff. So I had a lot of fun kind of incorporating that in a bit more of a Don't Starve way. Um, yeah, just kind of lots of inspiration from a few different things from that.
Yeah, and I feel like she's been simmering for a while because I remember one of like the design proposals we had when we were thinking about Wirt was like a shadow magic lady.
Yeah, I think yeah, there's a lot of cool things we've been wanting to do with shadow magic. It's always kind of a fine line because we don't want to steal Maxwell's thunder, but at
Yeah,
the same time, there's so much shadow magic in the world. It's kind of a shame not to use it.
exactly. It's such like a big element in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have this skin that's a little bit more steampunky. I love like the little monocle that's a watch in itself. Um, yeah. We also have
Uh,
the one that everyone's been calling Morpheus,
I love
which
that one so much.
it's the glasses, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
but I agree. It's a little Morpheus.
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I really like this one because it's so stylish, and I think we can see her
I
in
think,
like different ages and the different
yeah,
skins.
I think Lara and Anne Marie worked together on a bunch of these skins, so
Yeah,
they did a great job.
for sure. And last but not least, we have the Tankersmith, which is this one, I think. I hope I'm selecting the right ones. Okay. And feet. Yep. We can cycle the view. I think I got the right one. Yeah. So that's Wanda. Those are his skins. Yeah. Timo8474 asks, does she lose time when she gets damaged? Yes. So technically Wanda cannot die from like health reasons. She dies of old age. So what actually happens is that when she gets hit, she ages faster. So whenever she takes damage, her clock just moves a bunch, and then she eventually dies of old age. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna back out of this, and then we can start taking a look into some actual fun art stuff. But first, Hippopotamus Bosch asks, can you talk about the writing the flavor text and examines for the newer characters? That one's for you, bud.
For me, let's see, writing the flavor text. I mean, it's always fun, like, especially when it's a whole new character, you can really kind of build their personality from the ground up, which is always, like, fun and daunting in its own way. But yeah, I try to think a lot about the character and how they would specifically react to different things. Yeah, just trying to make them as distinct from each other as possible, which, there's like 18 or more now, so it's kind of hard to make every single one especially distinct, but I do my best.
Yeah, I think you do a fantastic job, honestly. Like, I tried writing a few strings back in Shipwreck days, and oh my god. I have a lot of admiration for what you do, Jan.
Thank you. It's the ones where it's like a board or something. It's like, what's a fun character-specific way to describe a plank of wood?
Right. Okay, so why don't we dive into some art? So these are the original concepts for Wanda, and they were done by you as well, right, Jen?
Yeah. I ended up doing a lot of stuff for Wanda, which was kind of fun. I don't get to design stuff whole lot, so it was nice to kind of be able to flex my rusty art muscles. But yeah, so went through a lot of different kind of the first phase for me at least is usually just throwing out as many different designs as I possibly can, and then kind of narrow it down from there once we kind of hone in on what we're looking for. But I like to cast a wide net at first.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if this is you on your rusty state, goddamn. You should see me when I'm rusty. But, yeah, it's fun because it's interesting to see that even in, like, the early concepts, there was already, like, a nice direction for Wanda. Like, her hair in these, in the number 1 drawings up there, it's already more or less what we ended up with Wanda.
Yeah, I think I always kind of wanted her to have that, like, crazy messy hair, and I tried to do a few different things but kept kind of gravitating back towards that because it just felt really fun and like her.
yeah and even like her clothing and like her glass and everything was already more or less on the way on this first like drawing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, if we look at the next one, then we start like narrowing down things a little bit, eh?
Yeah, so by this time we were kind of closer to what Wanda ended up becoming, and it was like kind of right down the middle between like the first couple and the last couple, and so we kind of ended up combining those designs into what Wanda ended up becoming.
Yeah. I see we were testing like different types of eyes and stuff. It's always a struggle to decide the eyes, I feel.
Yeah. All the combinations you can possibly do.
Yeah, and then for the next one, we have like more finalized, but with the little braid, I guess.
Yeah, we liked the idea of the braid, but it was just going to be a thing with the way the build is. It would just be breaking all over the place, and there's no real nice way to do it. So we ended up going with the bun, which I still really like. So. Yeah,
I think it fits her personality pretty well, like trying to avoid her hair all over her face kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Dark Solcito, I love that name, asked, what factors do you take into account when developing a new character for the game? I feel that's a bit of a broad question, but we just try to look into design directions which we haven't explored in all like aspects of the game. So like we wanted something that was shadow magic focused, we wanted something that was a twist on health, we thought time mechanics were pretty interesting. So for each one of those characters, it's us trying to explore a different design space for the characters and trying to see how far we can push a certain theme within the boundaries of what Don't Starve already is. Yeah, at least I feel that's where it's at when it comes to like the game design.
Yeah.
Jenny can probably speak better on when it comes to actually developing the personality of the character or even the art.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a similar. Oh, I think I lost audio for a second. Oh,
Oh,
sorry about that. I think it's kind of a similar thing where it's like you're looking for spaces that kind of haven't been claimed by other characters, like something that's different and distinct. Um, so yeah, Wanda was actually interesting because yeah, I wanted to make sure that she wasn't too similar to other characters like Wickerbottom or anyone else that kind of might be immediately compared. Um, but yeah, I think it ended up okay. Hopefully.
oh, it definitely did. Yeah, on the next one, we started having the actual portrait of Wanda.
Oh yeah, that was just like need to show the team something so we know what she's gonna look like. So I just like photo bashed the name together out of other characters' names and slapped her on there and was like, "This is what I think she's gonna look like."
I love
Speak
that we
now if
have.
you have a problem with it.
I love that we have enough characters now that we can literally build a full new name just from the letters we had.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Fox with Brad asked, how long does it take you guys to come up with a new concept, especially something as unique as this? Each character design process takes a few months, from like the initial concepting to actually designing, implementing. It goes through like several iterations, like we're going to talk about. Like you can even see from the concept, it is a time-consuming, pun intended.
Yeah.
It's a time-consuming process, but I feel like we have like fine-tuned the process enough that we've got a good groove going. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, there's another question. Samson Dreamer Goat was asking, what do healing items do with Wanda? Are they useless?
Yeah, Wanda can only heal with her watch, if I'm not mistaken. It's the ageless watch that regulates her clock. And yeah, you can use it every X minutes, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. We also got one from Hyperfixation Nation, who are the people who work on the sound design. They are incredible. That would be Danny and Amanda. Shout out to our audio team. They are absolutely fantastic and they do amazing work. Shout out to Steph and Scott too. They did a lot of work on Wanda and couldn't join us for this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, here we started experimenting with more of like her different age art.
Oh yeah, just kind of looking at how she would be changing over time. Kind of liked the idea of her getting like a little bit shorter and more hunched as she got older.
I was gonna say I absolutely love that detail. Yeah.
Something you do, it happens.
Yeah, for sure, right? And it makes the character feel realistic. I also love that she looks a little grumpier, like she's tired of this.
She's over it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm too old for all this.
Done. Yeah, and then we have the actual transformation animation with the little hand coming down. Coming up, I guess. Yeah.
I think this was Steph who was working on this. I know we went through a few different iterations, but yeah, she came up with something really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I love the little clocks just like spreading from her
Yeah.
in an area kind of situation. I think that adds like a nice little character touch in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there we go. I love this. My back hurts. It is very relatable.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't end up going with it just because it would have taken a bit too long for her to get out of it.
Yeah.
So, don't want to leave people just getting wailed on by whatever monsters around while that's happening. So had to shorten it, but I still really like it.
Yeah. I think it would have been like a nice and interesting character touch, but in the end, yeah, we gotta like focus on gameplay as well, right? If I'm running away from some monsters and suddenly I'm stuck like this, it's gonna suck a little, even if it was Even if I was like god moded during that time,
Yeah.
it would still kind of suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it'll still live in our hearts.
Yeah. We'll always remember achy
Yep.
back grandma.
Yeah, and here we have like another iteration of those animations with the glasses being adjusted instead of the back.
Yeah.
Those were all Steph, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all Steph. She did a lot of work for this one.
Yeah, and I love the glasses as well, like the little with the
Yeah.
little magnifying glasses. It's a really nice touch, which yeah goes exactly with what we had in the first few concept arts, right? It fit. We had something a good direction in there since the beginning.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool. I think. Ah, there we go. We have some concepts for the actual clocks here.
Yeah.
Because yeah, she has like multiple different clocks which do different things, and we had even more originally concepted, but we ended up discarding some because it didn't fit the character mechanically, or you would step on some toes. Because
Yeah.
that's another thing we have to think of. Because you mentioned like trying to make sure the characters don't sound so much personality wise.
Yeah, you gotta kind of make sure everyone is filling their own kind of role and not encroaching too much onto other roles, which is always kind of a fine line to walk on, but it's fun too.
Yeah, yeah, and gameplay wise, we also try to do the exact same thing, and we got to be careful not to step on like other characters' toes. They can be similarly in gameplay, like both Maxwell and her have like shadow themed mechanics, but gameplay we have to be a little careful with that. And originally we had like the idea to affect the speed, to maybe affect like the freshness of food and things, and yeah, but we felt like that might be stepping on some other characters' toes maybe a little too much, or like speeding up how fast crops grow and stuff, and that would be a little bit on wicker bottoms or
Yeah. I think
it's.
there was. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I think there was like one at one point we were talking about like if she had food in her inventory and she aged up, like it would go bad, and I feel like I love that, but it would probably really suck to actually play with
Yeah,
that.
I feel in the end it would have been like a lot to juggle on because I need to get younger or else I'm gonna die, but that affects the freshness of my food,
Yeah.
and then I have to juggle both like the food that I have in my inventory, and it's an
Yeah.
extra thing
Yeah.
for players to worry about, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And thematically, I don't know, it is pretty cool. I like that, but conveying that would have been a little bit hard, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot to say this was Phil who did
Ah,
all of the concepting for the watches and her tools and everything. And I know this was kind of his baby. He worked on a lot of the clocks.
I like this skull one. Which one's this supposed to be?
Oh, that was
A good drop.
we were trying to decide whether she would have tools or if she would have like a box, like a little toolbox, like how her tools would kind of look. So, yeah, there was kind of like a little toolbox idea for a while, and that's what the top few are.
Ah, I see. Yeah, because
A
it ended
little
up becoming
belt and a
the.
bag, and
Sorry, it ended up becoming the clockmaker tools, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The clocks were the watches were an interesting thing to design because we wanted them to be interesting and powerful, but not enough that it would completely break the game, especially if you're just beginning to play. But we also didn't want it to be like you only have this one clock. So the clockmaker tools were a good way to solve that problem, where you can recover your timepieces and make a different clock until you actually become experienced enough or have enough resources to build more timepieces. So I thought that was like a good design solution when it came to that.
yeah. It was nice character touch too that she would have. Like she's a clockmaker, so she has these specific tools that she uses.
Yeah, yeah, it would make sense that she does have that kind of thing, right? Fits her character very well. And I mean, she
Yeah,
has a special pair of glasses, a bunch of clocks on her. I'd be surprised if she didn't have a set of tools to fix her watches.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And speaking of the devil, that is where it evolved to.
yeah. That was the final little pouch of clockmaking tools on the right there.
So Fox with Bread again asked, "Can you share why the shadow monsters were after Wanda in the trailer, or is that classified information?"
That is classified information I cannot reveal.
Cannot confirm nor deny that information.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Keep playing to find out.
I have been sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, I guess you gotta play to find out.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that I've learned over the past couple of years, is sometimes it's more fun to not give everything away right away.
Yeah.
It's more fun to kind of let it stew for a bit.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely guilty of like just eating some popcorn, watching the forums just dissect every little single thing in every single like trailer or update that we do, and making like giant theories and theory boards with lines connecting everything.
It adds years to my life every single time. It brings me so much joy.
And sometimes players really go in. I really appreciate that. I love how passionate our community is about this, because we're passionate making it. So
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get really close too, and I'm like, oh, they don't know, but they got it.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was. No, it was in the beginning of the year when we were doing the Beefalo fashion contest, where a user in the forums guessed basically exactly what we were doing, and the whole team was like, "Well, they got it." Yeah, that was a fun time. Yeah. Next, we have more concepts for the watches.
Yeah, I think this was after kind of been narrowing it down a little bit more. So, yeah, I think, or maybe this was earlier. I can't remember. I'm getting my times all mixed up too.
Hey, pun intended.
On theme. Yeah, it had ideas for different materials that could be used. We thought it would be cool to use moon glass in some way, but then later on we're kind of like, well, if it's powered by shadow magic, that probably wouldn't make too much sense. So we kind of lost that.
Yeah, it kind of like clashes directly with the shadow stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, but I do like some of these designs, and like, again, nothing gets completely discarded. Like, I feel the design of like the bone pocket watch kind of merged into like the pocket watch weapon that we have. The alarming watch, which I love. I love the name, by the way. Yeah, and
I love.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I just love the whole concept of the alarming watch, that it's just like a really scary watch that she just hucks at people. It's wonderful.
For sure. Yeah. And then we have a couple more concepts over here. That's when we really started coming up with the idea of the backstab and the backtracking. I mean, the backtrack and the Rift watch being kind of like better versions of each other.
Yeah. And then I think it was like maybe some weapon or spear designs that it would be like a giant hand of a clock, which is pretty funny.
Right. Yeah, it would have been an interesting addition.
Yeah. But I think it felt like maybe too many weapons, and she's not really like a weapony character aside from her clock. Like, she'll defend herself, but she's not aggressive, I would say.
Yeah, like, she is pretty good at combat, especially when she gets older, because she becomes the whole glass cannon concept, right?
Yeah.
But she's definitely not the weapons character. The character can make all the weapons and attack stuff, exactly. Right? And again, it goes back into what we talked about. Nothing really gets fully discarded. We reuse a lot of things, because originally we had a glass cannon mechanic with Wendy, but we felt like thematically it was a little weird. But we definitely wanted to bring that back into the game in a later shape. Mm-hmm. So again, it managed to fit the idea of Wanda pretty well, as she's like the glass cannon, and you have to strategize your approach to a lot of situations, which is pretty good. Yeah. We also got a question by Sinan Co. The Best. What was your primary intention with the backstab watch? Well, we're trying to find interesting uses for clocks and how that could be used to strategize. And the backstab just happened naturally. You can just teleport close to where you were. And it helps a lot with like kiting and strategizing in combat. And we just felt like it was something that came to pretty easily. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
I think it also just felt kind of cool because I think when it's a shorter distance, you can really you can see the trail that she is walking, and it really feels like you're kind of going back a few seconds in time. And I think even just like thematically, just felt nice.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, it's exactly that. You can see like the time passing in a way, and it's cool too because we show a lot of the watches in the actual trailer, right? And she uses the backstab, and then she teleports somewhere so much further, and then becomes the backtrack. And yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, next we have the first concepts of the actual alarming watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the alarming watch. Oh, and we also have some of the original concepts for how the mechanics were actually going to work, because that's another thing that changed pretty heavily. Was originally the idea was to have a single watch where you would socket different gears in. You would have a HUD element, and you would sock up to like 5 gears into, and it was really interesting, but we felt it wasn't quite working the way we wanted it to. It was a little too UI focused, and it had too many constraints for the player not being able to cast something for a while. And one thing that we have to always keep in mind when designing is that this will also be played on a controller, and the reaction time for having to do that when the controller didn't quite fit the kind of gameplay we want for the character, especially considering she's a glass cannon. So if I have to move and navigate a bunch of UI in order to react to something, I already lost my glass cannon. My glass cannon broke. So the design evolved from there. The idea was still like to have certain constraints of what can be used and when it can be used. So yeah. Go to the next one. And then we have the actual first animation of the actual the alarming watch.
Yeah.
Oh, and we also have a question from Phantom Mime 404, who does the animation. The part in the animated short when the camera is spinning around Wanda is incredible. So the in-game animations, we have a team of artists, and actually our game artists also jump into the trailers, but we have people who do the trailers and people who do the animation, and they're all absolutely fantastic. The in-game animations, I think they were mostly Steph, and everything else, it was like the trailer team.
Yeah, that rotating shot with all the pieces was Jeff. He loves those rotating camera shots, so he did that all himself, which is crazy.
Yeah, Jeff is an amazingly talented animator. Everyone on the Don't Starve team is, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this whip weapon. The whip feeling. Oh, we looped back. There we go. The more finished version of the alarming clock. I love the whip feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I especially.
Yeah, I like that it goes all the way across. It just feels really good.
Yeah, I personally like the when it comes back, like the timing where it stays in the air before it goes down and kind of like rests. It like goes whoop whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I think this was Steph too.
Yeah. Shout out to Steph again for kicking ass always. Yeah. And yeah, we always wanted to have a bit of a shadow theme, so the alarming watch it has like the state of being fueled and being not fueled, and here we're testing like some shadow impact effects to convey the idea that it is a shadow weapon. Yeah, I really like that because it pushes pretty far the idea of the shadow theme without really stepping on the toes of like Maxwell, which is a nice
Yeah.
one.
I think in the final version too, if you look closely, there's actually little clocks that come out from it too. So
Nice.
it really drives home the whole like time thing, which is fun.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Let's see. And the next one, oh, it's the animation of the. Is it her death at the moment? Yeah, that's her death, right? Yeah, because she's in the old
so,
state.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like that one too because she doesn't leave a skeleton behind because it'd be a little too easy to just farm bones from the skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of her like her biggest watches right now. It's the what is it called again? The Second Chance watch. I'm terrible remembering names. But yeah, the Second Chance watch, if she haunts, she can come back to life, and she can also bring other players back to life. If she brings other players back to life, she still has the watch at the end of it, but if you haunt it, if Wanda herself dies and tries to haunt a watch, then it breaks, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like the animation, the little clocks, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, I also like the big one. I like this animation as well, with the hands coming out of the ground and just bringing her in.
Yeah, the clock hands that become actual hands.
Where did she go? Oh yeah, the clock hands actually become the hands. I hadn't noticed that detail. Nice.
Visual pun, yes.
Hey. But I like it. It's fitting. It feels pretty cool with the character.
Yeah.
Oh, we accidentally looped. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, and here we have a couple more concepts. Was this you?
No, this wasn't me. This was Kelly, I think.
Nice.
Coming up with like how it would look when she uses her watches.
Nice. I love the little notes like makes it rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. A weather watch would have been cool too, but again, it would be straying a little too far from what we envisioned for the character originally. Yeah. And I like how it's I like this just quick sketchy drawing for our concepts. Just gives the right idea, I guess.
Yeah, it just like kind of get something with the energy down really quick, so
Yeah,
you can
for sure.
move forward from there.
And we have a little more of it right now. This one, I believe it's for the Rift Watch, the one where she actually has to break the
Yeah.
to create the portal. But here the idea was she was smashing it on the ground first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kelly as well, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
by the similarity of these two.
Yeah, I think so. Or wait, no, actually I think this was Steph.
Oh. All right.
I have a cheat sheet, so
Yeah. I mean, now that you said it, I totally noticed it. I was actually testing you, Jen, and you passed the test. Congratulations. Yeah, and in this one, we have Wilson as a size over there, but we're basically testing what the ground effects for her look like. We're trying to test out what the markers would look like for her when she teleported, whether it's like using the backtrack or the backstep or even the Rift Watch, what those would look like.
yeah. And I think May was handling most of the effects, like the little gears on the ground and the shadow fire from the watch. I really love the gears on the ground though. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, it looks really nice, and yeah, it's a nice way of conveying that there's something in there without really affecting the world or affecting the world for other players.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what we have for Wirt, that she can see the tentacles coming out of the swamp.
Yeah.
It's noticeable enough that you're not gonna accidentally step on a tentacle, but it doesn't pollute the world in a way. Yeah. And here we have the first prototype for the portal art. It fits the art of the trailer pretty well.
Yeah. I love that it just kind of opens up like that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think this was Haley who was working on the portal.
Nice.
I went through a few different kind of iterations, and I think it turned out really cool.
Yeah, I like that there's the little like 3D effect on it. I think it fits
Yeah.
pretty well. And it
And
feels... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one of my favorite details about her time portal is that when she goes through the portal and she lands perfectly, she's an old pro, but anyone else who goes through the portal just lands on their butt. It's my favorite thing.
Oh, that is a really, really nice detail. I love that. Yeah. It's always the little things, you know, it's the little cool things. Yeah. Yeah, and I also like that it matches pretty well the portal from the trailer, which is always a nice touch, you know, because the trailers are supposed to be our universe. I mean, the Don't Starve universe, so it's cool to see that they actually are consistent with each other.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, fun, and we have to have a lot of communication back and forth because the trailer is usually happening, like working on the trailer is usually happening while we're working on the game. So things will be being designed as we're working on the trailer, and there has to be a lot of back and forth. I think there were some things that were put in the game that were actually kind of inspired from the trailer and vice versa.
Yeah. And I feel, that is a thing that that also happens with other characters. I feel like, back to Wirt again, the whole like reading of her, the whole thing that she can read a book to give her a sanity boost in the game came from the trailer where she's just sitting down and reading the little story, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the creative process, it's like a loop. It informs the creative process and then informs the creative process, and so it goes. Yeah, here we have a couple more tests for the Wanda marker and what it looks on the ground. Yeah. And here we have one of the first prototypes of her, first concepts of her using the heal/revive clock. Very often we'll have these like stills in the game, half unfinished, just so we can figure out the timing and how it's going to fit with the gameplay. Yeah, although they do have their own character, and they do have to help like moving fast when it comes to the prototyping and testing the game. Yeah.
I think people are wondering why she looks like that in the animation. I think it's just with the build.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole everything in there. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on in our Flash files.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta test it with the build, and it usually has like most of the things from all the characters.
Yeah.
I think people asked that in the previous streams as well. It's basically every item at once. You know, we have the Wilson portal. Wilson just jumping around.
Just having a grand old time.
Or a horrible time. I know I'd be having a horrible time. It's like Loki in Thor Ragnarok. I've been falling for half an hour. Yeah. Yeah, and here we have some concepts for Wanda's UI. We knew from once we actually settled down on her life being tied to time and not health, we started concepting what would be an interesting way to show that and to convey that. And yeah, at one point we considered just having the whole UI be a big old like family clock kind of situation. You know, one of those like your grandma had in her house and it was loud as hell and scared the shit of everyone.
Yeah, I didn't, being more on the writing side of things, I don't really know a lot of the technical constraints for stuff like the UI, so I was just like, what if we just go crazy? And it's like, no, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, the UI itself, it's an interesting challenge, because there's a lot of cool things we have to do with it, but we also have to take into consideration how it affects like the rest of the game and the rest of the UI and then mods and how it's gonna look with like split screen, because split screen's not a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, and it probably would have just felt like way too different.
Yeah,
like for some reason she just has a completely different UI. But
Yeah.
it was fun to play around with anyways.
Yeah, and instinctively, like, players know, at least like more experienced players know where to look for things, and just having that over there, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Mindspatch asked about split screen. Oh, it's for the PS4 and Xbox One split screens. Yeah, not the PC stuff. Sorry, bud. Yeah, and here we have some of the concepts for the original idea, which was to have like the sockets for different gears within the game. I do like the spinning and conveys the idea of a clock, but didn't quite work there. Yeah. Oh, and we looped again. Okay. Yeah, and here we have one of the concepts for the UI, one of the first concepts we came up with to show her health.
This was a really cool design that I think it was Phil who was doing the clock for her health or her time. And we really liked this design, but it just was a little too busy, and we were worried that like a lot of the detail would be lost when it's zoomed out. But I still really love the look of it.
Yeah, feels very Victorian. Feels very fitting to like a fancy watch. Yeah. Chico789 asks, "Wait, what's Wanda's favorite food?" Do you remember that one?
Oh, sorry. Wanda's favorite food is taffy.
Nice.
I really like the idea of like, old ladies that always have, really old stale candy around, and so she just has some candy in her pocket at all times.
Yeah. You're just giving me flashback memories from going to both my grandmas and asking for candy and getting some weird
I think
toffee.
everyone has that memory. Like I remember that too, going over to my grandma's house and she'd have that bowl of like those strawberry candies.
Yeah. It's that, and my grandma always had the little metal box of cookies that looked really fancy, but it was all sewing kit inside.
Yes, oh my gosh.
Yeah. In Wanda's case, it would be like a watch fixing kit, I guess. Yeah. Oh, and here we have the first concepts for the banner, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always an interesting one. Yeah, I like that we ended up with the one we did. It feels quite different from all the other ones. And it fits the trailer in a nice way as well, without, being explicitly the trailer kind of thing.
Yeah. I really liked that I ended up having it so that she's a different age whenever you log in, so it could be old Wanda or young Wanda.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is a really nice detail. Yeah, we have a lot of talented people working on that. And, I think that might be all we have for art. So I think we still have some time to dive into some gameplay. So let me switch over here. Hooray. Okay, so post the game. Okay. Yeah, what was your favorite thing to work on when it came to Wanda? What's your favorite thing about her?
My favorite thing about her? Gosh. I kind of liked how she interacts with the other characters, because she kind of seems like she knows them already, and I thought that was kind of fun to play with.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked kind of being able to be a bit cheeky, I guess, with some of her quotes. Like maybe she knows a bit more than
she lets on.
Yeah.
just to poke the lore theorists in the game, I guess.
Yeah. But she's also kind of forgetful, so she knows a lot, but then she forgets half of it, so it all kind of becomes a net zero in the end.
How convenient. Yeah, so this is Wanda in game. Took too long in the selection screen, so someone asked the question, but it flew away from me. There we go. Phantom Mime 404 asked, "How old is Wanda?" So Wanda's age goes from 20 years old to 80 years old, so she basically has 60 years to live, and she adjusts that using her ageless watch, faithful companion. Yeah, let me just enable building all things, and we can go through all of the watches. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. Okay, we can make the clockmaker stools, the second chance watch, backstep watch, the backtrack watch, which I'm gonna have to make 2 of because it's gonna get consumed over here, and the alarming clock. There we go. Okay. So yeah, the first one, the ageless watch, I think it's pretty obvious what it does at this point. I activate it and it rewinds my time and it makes me younger. So if I'm at the old age state, if I use it at the right time, I can become the middle age, and if I use it as middle age, I can become young again, full of youthful vigor. Yeah, let me actually make it daytime so it's easier to see. And one more time. There we go. Yeah, I ended up aging in that process, but that's okay. My clock will be back in time. Yeah, so first thing is the backstep watch. And one interesting detail that I like about it is you can see the indicator on the ground, but if you forget which clock's the one doing that, if you click it, it does a little animation on the actual marker on the ground. So if I click it, it does the whoop, like a little reminder of what animation, which clock this one's supposed to be. And if I activate it, takes a little second to go back, so I can't do it too hard, but yeah, it's a nice little switch. Yeah, that is our backstep watch. Whoop. It's great for kiting, or if you're in a pickle during combat. It's a quick way to just whoop. Yeah, and then we also have our backtrack watch. So this one works slightly different. It creates a marker on the ground, and wherever I go, that marker is still there. It also has the same detail as the backstep in the sense that if I click it, it does a little animation to show which marker this one is supposed to be. And I can be as far as I need to be, because unlike the backstep watch, the backstep is always a very recent position in the world. Just whoop. But the backtrack, doesn't matter where I am, it will take me exactly to that marker. It just takes quite a while to reload. And yeah, and the Rift Watch is basically an evolution of that. The Rift Watch, it creates a marker on the ground, which also does the little animation. I absolutely love that detail. But once I activate, it creates a portal, and all different players can go into that portal. So it's great to creating like a little shortcut for base, or for a quick retreat after a raid goes wrong. And it also allows you to go through different shards. So if you're playing in the caves and you want to go back into the surface, you can use your Rift Watch and it takes you there. And actually does the little animation where she breaks the jam and whoop.
I think you can also upgrade the backtrack watch to the Rift Watch.
Yep. Yeah. Basically in the recipes over here, yeah, the backtrack, the Rift Watch basically uses a backtrack watch as part of the recipe, and you'll notice a nice little detail. It says socket instead of build, because the whole idea is combining one. The idea is combining one gem with the backtrack watch to make a Rift Watch. So if you want to, you don't have to actually craft it. If you have a purple gem, you can directly socket it into a backtrack watch to make it into a Rift Watch. So here you get a little socket action, and I don't need to actually go through the the crafting menu for that. So I can just socket it in, and boom, becomes a Rift watch. Magic. Time magic. Some Oinky Boy asked, what instrument is her voice? Danny or Amanda would know better than me, but I believe it's it's some sort of old clock, if I'm not mistaken. Some bells.
Yeah, I think it's like a clock chime.
Yeah, with like some audio magic built in there. Yeah.
Yeah, or at least that was the idea that wanted it to sound like a clock chime.
Yeah, absolutely. So just create a new one because I think we have another question.
Oh, Amanda says grandfather clock chime. So there you have it.
There we go. And Dark Pulse 91 asks, so once you set a point, you can't set another. Not with the same clock. You basically need a new one, or you can use your clockmaker's tools. And with the clockmaker's tools, you can take apart a watch, and you don't lose any of the watch pieces, the timepieces you used for it, so you can rebuild your watch. You can also make new timepieces, but they are quite expensive. They take toolsite, so you need to probably explore the caves a little bit for either the archive or the ruins. And from then on, you can build timepieces, which you can use to build your clocks after that. Yeah. And Akoris asked, is her Carol working? Not currently. We are working on fixing that, and will probably come on an update soon. And yeah, another interesting detail is that her voice also changes with her age. So older Wanda can actually show that. Actually, let me just long update a little bit more, just to avoid the... Okay, and I'm just going to do a little delta. Opponents dot health delta. Let's do -10. There we go. Oh god, that was so little. -30. There we go. Yeah, so her voice gets slightly different. Let me just find something to examine, or... Yeah. The pitch changes a little bit. It becomes kind of like an older watching. Yeah. Also, Zandorum asked, are you watching closely on the balance of Wanda? Whenever we release a character, whether it's a rework, a refresh, or an entirely new character, we're always keeping close tabs on how they're doing and what we feel how we feel they could be improved, if at all. So yeah, if we feel like her gameplay could benefit from some tuning, we'll definitely do that. Yeah. Also, yeah, Dark Pulse asks, so once you set a point, you can't set another. The points, they are clock dependent, which is why once you grab a clock, it shows which one this one's supposed to be, so you can then reuse it. Yeah, I'm going to take a little more damage so I can die, and then show the Resurrection Watch. Oh, so close. There we go. So one interesting thing that we did that we didn't do with other players was that she keeps some of her clocks once she dies. You'll notice that her clocks didn't all fall in here. We only got the second chance one, because since the Ageless Watch is such a key piece of her gameplay, it would feel unfair if, you know, she resurrected so far from where she dropped her pocket watch and then she immediately dies again. It would be pretty frustrating. And if I haunt the second watch, I come back. And the second watch ends up being destroyed in the process. Oh, also I like this little detail as well. Let's see if we can catch it. There we go. That little animation on the timepieces, there's a little flame in there. I absolutely love that tiny detail.
I think the clocks actually, like the little hand turns too if they're just sitting on the ground.
Let's see. Oh, not that one. Oh, you mean the actual timepieces?
Yeah, yeah.
Or not, maybe.
Or I thought I thought one of them did.
Yeah. Also, another detail on the second chance watch is that it revives you where you died instead of where you were. So if you are playing in the surface as a ghost and then you get resurrected, but you died in the caves, you're going to be teleported all the way all the way back into the caves again. So that's another detail you have to keep in mind if you're resurrecting someone. They are going to go back to where they died. Because you're basically like rewinding time and rewinding their life in that case.
Oh, the clock winds down when it's on cooldown. That's when you see it.
That makes sense. So yeah, I can set this guy over here. Gonna activate it just so we can see the cooldown. Didn't go very far with that one. Oh, there we go, yeah. We can see a little animation over there. Yeah, when it's on cooldown. That makes sense. Good catch, yeah. But yeah.
I know the artists put lots of cool little details into this one.
Oh yeah,
so
and it's so much work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that is more or less all the time we have for today. That is Wanda. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys next time. We will be rating Dizzy Disaster after the stream, since he's playing some DST, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.